What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Couch podcast. We're going to be talking a little bit about Thursday night football. We'll be talking about a whole lot about Dynasty, a little bit about trades. I want to start this off with something negative here. I see you clowns. Just letting you know. I see you guys. I see you clowns. I see you guys deleting Cam Akers comments. You know this, right? You can't win on the internet, right, Mike?
Can't win.
You just have to say like, "Oh, I took an L," and then you have to say LOL because you can never win on the internet. This is the way it goes. When you get stuff right, you're still a clown. It's just how it is. So I see you guys deleting Cam Akers comments when you called me an idiot and said Cam Akers is going to turn things around, this and that. And I see you guys leaving comments on old videos and all this stuff. It is what it is. I mean, Cam Akers sucks. The Rams suck. Who else sucks? Stafford sucks. Henderson.
Jaguars. Kind of.
Well, yeah, lately. I mean, on the Rams. on the Rams. Allen Robinson sucks. That guy really
Akers,
sucks.
yeah. Akers and Darrell Henderson. Their whole run game is awful.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily Darrell Henderson's fault, but he's not that great of a back to begin with. So welcome back to Dynasty Day Trader. So we just got done watching a game, and I gotta say that it was a boring game, but there's some good stuff from it. Bears always running well. I like what I see out of Khalil Herbert. I mean, they didn't hit Pater or anything, and Bears offense never lights it up. I like that Carson Wentz kept throwing the ball. I started Curtis Samuel in the Vampire League. Very disappointed. I had him going in 2 leagues and just so disappointed. They target him. He leads the team by far in receptions and targets, and he seemed to drop everything tonight. It was so bad. We said we got an echo. Is it anybody else hear that? I don't think I'm echoing. There's no way. I'm a professional. That's impossible. Let me know if you guys hear an echo. I like that Carson Wentz kept throwing the ball. Things were just a little bit off with McLaurin, Curtis Samuel dropping it. I think once they get Jahan Dotson back, I feel like this offense can do something. Remember what Ron Rivera said? A lot of people are making fun of it. I mean, it was a bad comment when they're like, "What's wrong with the team?" And he's a quarterback. But what he meant to say, fully, was he just didn't have a lot of time to develop. That's Carson Wentz, only been there for 5 games. The other quarterbacks in the NFC East been there much longer. So,
after tonight, I think he was kind of right. Quarterback is to blame. I think that, if they had a better quarterback, they might win more games. I don't know. But they did win tonight. But
it wasn't his fault. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. But because Daniel Jones is, I got to say coaching with Daniel Jones, to be honest, because that's really the only factor.
He's just washed.
Well, he didn't play bad today.
He
did the team in the final drive.
Fantasy-wise, he
from
did.
Fantasy perspective, sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different. If you were
equation,
a fantasy show.
So when I played a lot of DFS, this is very base. This is 101 stuff by now, but modern days. You want to target high-scoring games, and I think we all knew that this was the opposite of that.
Tonight was not the night for that.
Heading into that, we all knew that. I don't think we had to use Vegas lines to know that the Bears-Washington Thursday night football was going to be low scoring. By the way, slated to be the lowest scoring game this week, and it did not disappoint. So
did the unders hit? I don't know.
I think it did. What's the final score? Pretty sure it hit
12-7. Right?
12-7. Yeah.
It hit. It hit. The over-under was 30-something, 30.
I would have
39, 37. Yeah, around there.
Smash that line.
Yeah. Unders. So it was 20 total. Yeah. There's never a line that's 19 total points. I've never seen. I've seen a 19-point spread. We saw that with the Steelers game
38?
last week.
Oh, it was
38, an 18-point spread.
If I would have known that, I would have done damage on that. If I lived in Vegas.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, one connection with Wentz, touchdown, one more connection with Fields, another touchdown. Probably still barely hits the under, so under would have been good there too. But it's like, it wasn't
Screams
off.
unders. Though.
I like Wentz still, with kind of the same reason I like Jameis. They have gunslinger mentality, and I think Wentz played decent today. I'm not saying he's good. Don't try to twist my words or anything like that. And frankly, if you can't tell by now, I don't care about Washington Commanders. I don't really care. I care about fantasy a lot. And so I'm just using this as fantasy perspective. He's got that gunslinger mentality. Now it was only 22 attempts, the lowest attempts, but I still see him throwing the ball out there, getting it done. It's the same reason I also like Malik Willis. You guys remember Malik Willis's preseason game? Everyone was going goo goo gaga. And I was like, that's not why I like it. I didn't like him because he dominated in the preseason. I liked him because his athleticism translated. I liked how he moved around. I knew he was a project. I knew he was raw. He's not ready yet to be NFL quarterback, but one day he might be. I just liked the potential. And so, yeah, if you look, people are going to look at this, be like, bro, you're an idiot. Carson Wentz sucked, this and that. Yeah, no one, I didn't tell anybody to start Carson Wentz. Nobody started Carson Wentz.
Cuddy did.
Didn't expect. For real?
Everyone did it? Oh, boy.
Cuddy
For real?
did in our league, yeah.
Well, we can analyze that man's decisions this year, and I'm sure it's a long streak of crap.
Well, he had Tua, so that didn't help. And then he picked up Bridgewater.
Who'd he draft?
Who'd
he draft?
I don't know. Tua and Stafford. I don't know why he doesn't play Stafford. I think that's
Stafford. It's funny because Stafford's actually projected to be like top 10, top 11 around that tier.
And you'd rather have Carson Wentz against Chicago.
That's rough. That's going.
Rough.
I'm gonna say that's a bad start, and it's not a hindsight thing. My rankings clearly had Stafford. Like, you have to scroll down the page between Stafford and Wentz, so it's not like it's just clearly a bad decision. By the way, guys, we are talking about a 1 QB league, just to be clear.
Yeah,
the way you're describing this is giving the audience Superflex vibes.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
it's
definitely.
not your fault. I mean, this is great info. I mean, I'm shocked that somebody started Carson Wentz. Wow,
one quarterback. I mean,
quarterback should have definitely, just made sure the context.
Again, fantasy 101. One thing I do every week, and it's
right.
It literally does. It doesn't even take 5 minutes. I look at the Vegas lines. I see this. I mean, it's like, what is it? 37.5 over under 39. Like, it's terrible. It's literally the lowest scoring game of the week. 38 was the over under. I think it was 37.5 on some sites. Some sites vary. So yeah,
that's
it's 30. It's the lowest of the week.
And still didn't hit it.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't even come close.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they didn't come close with this boring game. It was snooze fest.
If
you want to take it,
snoozing over there in this picture.
Now, 80% of people, 90% of people listening already know this. It's Fantasy 101, target players in high scoring games. So I just want to take it a step further. Like, just to fully understand the math, it's just a simple concept. Let's say this game over under was 52. That's super high scoring, okay? But let's still say, again, it was by far the lowest scoring game, projected, implied, what Vegas had. It would still be low scoring because, remember, we're basing it off how other games are, right? So if this game over under is 46, which is always like the dead average, 46 over under is always like the average. This is I don't do the math. I just look at it so much that I know that.
I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
So let's say 46 is the exact number. If this was 46, but all the other games were 60, then we still want to try to kind of avoid offensive players in this game. Like, it's just how it works. Touchdowns are always key. Now, what we do like in this game, and I honestly don't see anybody else did this. It was a lot of luck for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was worried about it. I did start the Washington Commanders defense in over half of my leagues. So because of the Vegas scores, because the Vegas lines are right more times than us, because they have billions of dollars on the line. We think we know stuff, but we don't know as much as them. And it really panned out. They gave me, I think, 13 fantasy points. So
That's pretty
that was
good. That's a
pretty
pretty
good.
good outing. Not bad.
Oh, that's great. I mean, especially how scared I was. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, oh God. But yeah, 13 points was great. Justin Fields he got hurt like 3.5 times. He
Yeah,
got sacked
slowly
and
dying
killed.
in that game. It was painful.
Oh man, he was getting crushed. Yeah, 13 in on Sleeper and Yahoo. So that was great. Yeah, I really started him in a lot of
Strong
leagues.
screenplay this week, Washington.
Yeah, I had him as a top 7 defense, I believe, maybe top 6. So that's great. Here we have a meme. I mean, I don't quite get it, to be honest. It's probably because I'm dumb, but it's still funny. So I put it up here. Justin Fields when someone is wide open in the end zone and he's doing
he's blind, he can't see. That's
yeah, so
why.
this is when he's like he does this meditation thing where he has to like breathe in for 4 seconds and breathe out. Just
yeah, I
calm
get
himself
that,
down, right?
But like,
And
are they
then-
talking about a certain play? Like, I mean,
Not
No,
as
he
so
always
he missed a
misses
few wide
throws.
open receivers tonight. I don't know if
Yeah,
anyone
thank
was
you.
in the end zone in particular. Oh no, he did miss the tight end in the end zone. That was
He missed every end
He
zone
missed the tight
throw.
end.
I didn't see him make one. He can't make a throw in the end zone. Like he's not a
look,
thrower,
Mike,
he's a
it's
runner.
not really a throwing team.
I know.
That's also
It's
true.
not
why.
their thing.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I'm
he's-
just,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
throw.
They really put the emphasis
Because
on
they
run
have,
first.
one of the worst throwers. Justin
Yeah.
Fields.
Who would you rather have, Trey Lance or Justin Fields?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
going
boy.
Trey Lance. Trey Lance, just because we've barely seen him play. So we've seen Fields
Sure.
play quite a bit.
He's a great runner, though. Elite runner. If
Oh,
he
yeah,
can just learn to
elite
throw
runner
the
for sure.
ball, like if he can do a Jalen Hurts type trajectory, then maybe. But right now, it's not looking good. But he's an elite runner.
Well, here's my thing with Trey Lance. This is a comparison no one's ever made, but I always study like QBs running, like Jameis Winston. I randomly looked it up today. This is stuff I do. 4.97 40 time. Yet I like how he moves. I like how he runs. Right? It's not all about
it's
the
fast.
40 time. If you look at Justin Fields' 40 time, it's extremely fast, but it's
Like
because
4.3.
he's a smart runner. No, it's not 4.3. So I think it's 4.44. I think 4.44,
Okay.
4.4. Yeah, that's still extremely fast for a
That's
quarterback.
very fast for a quarterback.
So Trey Lance, I'm going to compare to a really good quarterback in the league, Dak Prescott. That's how he needs to run, with an occasionally sprinkle in maybe a Cam Newton type run, occasionally sprinkle in this and that. But it's when
Jalen Hurts. Why don't you just run like Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he can run as much. So that's the thing. So I think it needs to be more like Dak Prescott, where you set up normal plays, you set up actual passes and actual normal run plays, and then the defense, once their backs are turned against you, then you take off and you get those chunk yardage, because it's all about getting the defense, keeping the defense guessing, right? Having them trying to defend the pass while your quarterback takes off. Just simply put, even though we may have disagreed before this season started, before Lance was drafted, Jalen Hurts is a better runner than Trey Lance, and Jalen Hurts actually surprised me last year, and of course this, he kept it up this year. He's a really good runner. Just Trey Lance is not that great of a runner in the NFL level. His athleticism doesn't translate. I don't think he's as strong as Cam Newton, and he's not quite as fast and as good of a runner as say Jalen Hurts. 40 time only tells a small part of the story. So they
Also
need
strength. Jalen Hurts is like a big weight room guy, so I think is just more durable and stronger than these younger guys coming up.
I underestimated him as an athlete. I saw that clip of him squatting. It was pretty insane for a guy of his body to,
he's strong.
Like, yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. So yeah, he's squatting. Everyone's going nuts. I forgot what he was squatting. It was
something crazy, like crazy
over
numbers.
500, I think. Yeah, something like that.
I think it was
500
more than
pounds.
that. Yeah.
Which is just
Drew,
nuts.
can you look that up?
Find that video, Drew. Put it in the private chat because we want to See, this guy squatting.
Oh, 600 pounds.
600.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
for a quarterback, like a quick quarterback, that's insane.
That's ridiculous.
Like Derrick Henry, you'd understand that. Like,
yeah.
but it's like, dude, quarterback.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, bro.
Anyway,
Those
anything
like
else?
lineman numbers.
Anything else about Thursday night football?
What'd
So
you
just
think
stop talking
about
it?
Brian Robinson?
That's
Promising?
what I want to talk
Yeah,
about.
Brian
That's right.
Robinson. We got to get into him.
It's literally the only thing I want to talk about. And about the game. Actually, I don't know. It's totally slipped my mind. Yeah, I tweeted that out. Brian Robinson touchdown. I mean, it was, freaking great. Like, let's go. There's some guys that I always pushed really hard that you guys know, and I don't have on a lot of my teams, and that's Saquon Barkley and Brian Robinson. I got Saquon Barkley in a Dynasty league. Thankfully, Brian Robinson. I have him. I do have Brian. I have Brian Robinson at least on 2 teams. That's right. I'm not sure if I have it on more than 2 teams. So I do have him, but not a lot of shares. And man, that's great for him. I mean, came back from getting shot, carjacked, was in the facility 2 days later, and he looked good. I think this guy's going to be a good runner, potential workhorse. I think he's going to get better as the season goes along. I like what I saw from him, and that's another reason why I still think the Commanders' offense has some potential because now they have Brian Robinson. Let's see what happens when Jahan Dotson comes back. I think the Commanders' the offense will be good. I'm just saying that, like, as a sleeper, they're not elite or anything. I think there's potential there. I am a certified Washington Commanders hater. So, like, this isn't me just jockeying this team for no reason. I'm just saying, like, you got to read in between the lines. You can't just read the stat line. Oh, Carson Wentz, 4 fantasy points, this and that. Like, I like what I see, man. I think they're and McLaurin looked a little bit better. Curtis Samuel freaking regressed though. I don't know about that
for sure.
You know who Brian Robinson reminds me of? Like a taller Josh Jacobs, taller and quicker. That's who
taller and quicker Josh Jacobs. That's interesting.
Yeah, because they both went to Alabama. They're both like tough runners. You know what I mean?
Physical
both
style,
very, like shifty, physical. It's just that Brian Robinson's 6'1" and Josh Jacobs 5'10", so he's kind of more upright. Oh, here we go. Jalen doing
Jalen Hurts, unbelievable.
Is there audio? No. Oh my, that's crazy. This is like what offensive linemen put up.
Good. We can get audio.
Get some audio on this.
The audio makes it.
I was going to say, I thought Brian Robinson, he started out kind of slow, 2-3 yard, short yardage carries. But then, in the second half and then kind of, as the game went on, I thought he got better and also the offensive line got better as a whole. So, those 2 things are, like Couch was saying, more reasons for optimism in the future for Washington's offense. Not expecting them to be lights out or anything, but again, could be something fantasy.
They're still gonna suck. Don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about in terms of fantasy. Like, I just want to get things clear. Internet, man, it's all about like you're a clown, black and white. Blah blah blah. You said they're good, they're bad. Like, not everything's black and white in the world. And like, because I read all these comments. I know I talk about this all the time, but it's like we're warped now, man. Not everything's black or white. You're not right or wrong. Like, I'm just trying to find ways to win in fantasy and live life. Like, what's this? That's it. Stop bullying me about Cam Akers. It's affecting me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a big deal. So, but that's
that's hilarious.
Well, they did stop bullying me because they deleted their comments. The bullies deleted their comments. Because I was right about him.
You were right. In a 10-team league I'm in, someone dropped Cam Akers, and then I dropped Darrell Henderson. So they're both on.
Waiver wire twins. All right, let's watch this little hype clip.
That was funny.
This is pretty insane. I've seen this.
That's actually incredible.
Kyler couldn't do that.
No way, no chance. And I see the Oklahoma gear, so that means he was in college doing this. That's absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah, of course.
Wait, that was I thought it was he visited.
No, he played broke. He took over after Kyler.
No, I know, but so this is an old video.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I thought he visited back.
No,
it just randomly comes out. It's like 2 years, 3, 4 years later, and just.
I think it was out. It was just not like to the forefront.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's like you just seen it recently, right? Like I just seen it.
Yeah.
Like a week ago.
Yeah. I mean, I never really paid attention to him at Oklahoma that much, even though he was.
Oh, me neither. That's why I was surprised he's such a good athlete. I'm like, damn, bro, this guy can run really well. Like, I feel so stupid. Like, I mean, it's in his scouting report. Like, he's a mobile quarterback. I look at his 40 time, but like this dude's like getting a first down last year every play. Like. It was crazy.
I think when he got replaced by Tua in the national championship game, people kind of like wrote him off. You know what I mean?
That really damaged his draft stock a ton.
Yeah, but really it was like Tua just got like really hit like a stride,
and he played lights out in that
game
too,
Exactly. He won the game for them, so it's hard to have two quarterbacks like that.
So Sushane runs one of my dynasty leagues for me, and then he's like, "Hey, can you
doing God's work.
Can you like make trades without like, or do I have to let you know?" I was like, "No, make trades for me." So good. And then he's like, "All right, so what do you think about Jalen Hurts for Trey Lance?" I was like, hold on. I was like, hold on. You gotta ask me what you trying to do stuff like that. I was like, I already have Trey Lance in half my dynasty leagues. Like, I was like, hold on.
Don't do it.
No. The idea would be Jalen Hurts for Trey Lance and a huge plus. Huge plus.
Okay.
Well, I know,
if we feel as bullish on Trey Lance as we do, then it's like
223 first.
But I'm still, I'm still like, it's first of all, it's super flex. It's dynasty.
Right. Quarterbacks are really.
He's like the hottest. He's like the hottest player.
And he's still like 22 or 23.
Josh Allen, you could say, is probably better. He's much more proven. But it's like, other than Josh Allen, he's like the hottest player in the whole league. Kyle Pitts is it? Remember
Dynasty League? I have both. Trey Lance and
Hurts. Oh baby.
Yeah, but then Hurts. I mean, Lance got hurt. But if he didn't get hurt, I would have been perfect.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is to me, he's almost off limits unless somebody like pays a super premium for him. He's a build those guys don't come around. You can't just like get a quarterback like in Superflex Dynasty. You can just pick up a quarterback. Like there's no one available.
Skylar Thompson, he's out there.
It's Skylar Thompson.
That's like
it all.
And maybe Cuddy might need him next, after getting Tua and then Teddy. He's next on the ad list.
Justin Fields.
Oh, this is a good one. A Brian Robinson running style reminds me of Willis McGahee. Yeah, Willis McGahee.
Yeah.
Did he kind of revitalize a little bit? He was on the Ravens. I think he just scored a couple.
On the Bills, he was really good.
That was his prime. Broncos. That's it.
Prime was the Broncos. I thought the Bills.
No. Bills was his prime.
Bills prime. Okay.
And then he went to the Broncos. But Willis McGahee was good. He's a power runner, but not huge.
Baby. Yeah,
he's good. There we go. Congrats, Brian Robinson.
I thought his career was over when I first heard it. I was like, damn, that's hella sad.
Well, I didn't know what to think, but I thought he might not make it too. Like,
right.
I mean,
sometimes that happens.
There we go. We have a list.
Broncos. Okay.
That's Willis McGahee's
He's on the
career.
Browns. I remember that now.
Browns. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I think what happened, this is early fantasy. I think what happened, Mike, was the Browns signed him. And everyone pulled over on the freeway to add him in fantasy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
This is back in the day. There's no no one played FAB.
What is this story? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even a real story, but it was during let's say 3 p.m.
It was a thing.
The Browns, midday. The Browns added Willis McGahee out of nowhere off the street, and then everybody rushed to add
The
him
Yahoo
in
servers
fantasy
crashed.
football. Yeah, like everybody
That's how
was.
crazy it was. Like everyone's like
iPhone was
pulling
still
over.
invented. Like, the iPhone 3
Yeah.
or 4 was out, so like
I think I
iPhone
pulled
5.
over. I think I was one of the people that pulled
Everyone was like pulling over
Yeah.
on the freeway.
Yeah.
And so I just tweeted it. I was like, man, there's a lot of cars pulled over. I was like, bet you they're adding Willis McGahee right now. Like, I
For
bet
sure.
you.
For
That's
sure.
hilarious.
You don't want to screw
That
up.
was
or,
before
or
Teslas,
crash.
You couldn't
Yeah,
just put it in
before the
autopilot.
Tesla era, for sure.
You had to actually park.
September
So-
18th, 2013.
Oh my
2013.
goodness.
Wow.
That
10
would be
years
around that
ago.
iPhone, huh? 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 around that
Yeah.
type. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back in those days. Yeah. So that was,
Yeah, that's way
you could
back.
still, use the app and add on the phone. A little slower though. You had to concentrate a little
slower.
more. Yeah. All right. Last week I got some stuff right. That was cool. I was telling people that wanted to ship Dalvin Cook to bite their tongue, squeeze their butt cheeks, cross their fingers, do whatever it takes, and wait one more week.
That was me.
What?
You told me because I was trying to trade Dalvin Cook.
Well, I told everybody. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember telling you. I said it on the podcast.
There you go, for sure.
Oh, but you were on the podcast. I don't remember.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't
know
remember.
You told me this separately. Either
Okay.
way.
Oh,
Either
okay.
way.
I told it on a platform and I texted you probably. So,
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was telling people like, look, and it was a gamble. Don't get me wrong. Like it was a gamble, but it was like, you got to do this. And he just had a really good game. And if you wanted to trade him, now was your chance. You know what? You guys can chime in. I'm not going to be the one to tell you to keep him or trade him. I would probably trade him. I'd trade him if you have a good trade partner, but it's up to you. If you wanted to trade him before, now's your chance. I would do it now before week 6 starts.
Yeah, fully agree because the timeshare between him and Madison pretty iffy. Doesn't really give you much confidence moving forward that Dalvin Cook is going to be the de facto guy that he has been in the previous few years that we've seen him. He's coming off a big game, so if you want to get the maximum value that you possibly can for Dalvin, I mean, strike while the iron's hot, and right now is when the iron is hot. So I fully agree.
Should you trade Dalvin, Mike?
I would probably trade him, yes. But
Yeah.
for who though?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Player would be better than what you would have got last week for him. That's all I know.
True.
He could have another good game this week, but then Madison could be vulture it too, and that's another worry with Madison. So that's up to you.
Would you trade him for Mixon?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm a Mixon
All right.
fan. Yeah.
All right, just making sure. What about Swift?
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
coming out
That's a
being
no-brainer.
Cool. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, give me a harder one like Kamara. But Kamara was also right.
Kamara.
That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough
one.
one. Yeah.
Let's think about
So
that.
Kamara, I also said, he was gonna have a good game, and he did. So I kept saying buy low, and now I think you kind of missed your chance. And so one little caveat, I like Taysom Hill. Don't get me wrong. He annoys me because I don't have him in a lot of leagues. Like that's me personally.
I got him in one. It's amazing.
I mean, he's good, but just know he's unpredictable. And when Jameis and Kamara are in the lineup, Taysom Hill's production will go down. That's just a fact, right? We don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm just saying it affects him, right? So let's just say theoretically Andy Dalton was starting and Kamara was out. That sounds like a Taysom Hill game. That sounds like you got to start Taysom Hill tight end. Let's say Kamara is in, Mike Thomas is in, Jarvis is in, Olave's in, Jameis Winston's in. That sounds like a game where you got to be pretty desperate to start Taysom Hill. It's very unpredictable. He's going to get
start him at
0.
tight end or quarterback. Like if you start him at tight end,
he's tight end. He's tight end every
tight end.
platform. That's still risky. Like I said, I'm not saying don't start
Is
him.
that
I'm just saying
risky
he's
for
risky.
tight end? It's great.
Okay, I mean
he's tight end 3 on the year. Did you know
All
that?
from one game, mostly.
Yeah, from the couple.
Still, like the
40
rest of the
pointer.
options that you have at tight end are pretty bad.
Well,
So,
like,
I
okay,
think
we
you
got
should
me and you
start
have
him.
Dallas Goedert. Like, I'm starting Dallas Goedert.
Okay, yeah. I mean, compared against Dallas
Okay,
Goedert, but
but
like
that's
literally
half-
anyone else.
That's
besides
half the
Kelsey,
It's
league.
the average tight end though. Dallas
That's
Goedert,
half the league.
Is
That's
it?
Dalton
how
Knox, you know,
top
Dalton
six.
Schultz.
I
These types
think
of guys.
he's a top 4 or 5 right now.
Yeah, because of what? Okay,
'Cause
I know
he
where people
exploded for
stand.
5
I know
points.
where people stand. Gabe Davis was a wide receiver of 50.
But
Did that
tight ends
matter?
aren't playing quarterback and aren't running it in the goal line red zone packages. Like
What do you want?
his
I'm
scoring
saying top.
upside is so high.
Dallas
that you
Goedert
should
is not
probably
elite.
start him.
I'm
No,
just
I'm just saying
saying.
you should probably start him over like the majority of other tight end options. Is all I'm saying.
If you have a crappy tight end selection, sure. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's
I mean, most people
that's
do.
fine.
Half
Yeah,
the league does.
half the league.
More than half. Like
I'd say
pretty
half.
much 75% of every league has
You got
shitty options.
Kelsey, Mark Andrews,
Yeah.
Zach Ertz, Goddard,
Okay, that's
and
it.
probably one more guy.
No, that's it. That's 4 guys. I'm telling you. You have to
I
start.
got to be
Taysom
forgetting
Hill.
about one guy.
No,
here.
you're not. That's it. Schultz sucks.
I have
Knox
Zach
sucks.
Ertz in every league,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't know.
Well, yeah,
And
that's what I'm
Kelsey.
saying. I'm telling you. I'm reporting
Yeah.
live from the other vantage point. There's nothing else good out there. David Njoku, I guess. But
That's actually,
about
I
it.
think that's pretty close. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not that. That's not, yeah. But anyway, my point being is that when Jameis and Kamara are in, Taysom Hill's production goes down, or, you got to lower the ceiling, lower the expectations a little bit. Yeah, man, Kamara's back. He's looking much better. What to do with Cam Akers? Right before I recorded my weekly rankings video, news came out that Cam Akers wasn't at practice. Apparently, it was a rest day, which is, I don't know what's going on here, but I think you do the same thing. Now, this one's going to be much more depressing, guys. This movie is not, it doesn't have that nice little tune, that upbeat soundtrack as Dalvin Cook's story. Cam Akers, if he plays, he is slated to have his best game of the year. It will still be depressing. It's going to be like 10 fantasy points. It's not going to be good. But if you wanted to trade him, it would have to be right after week 6, after he plays the Panthers. Running backs are going down every single week. Lots of injuries. Damian Harris injured. Rashad Penny out for the year. Eli Mitchell, Javonte Williams. The list goes on and on. And I think that's your best bet. I mean, in a 10-team league, he's still going to be absolutely worthless.
Drop him.
In a 12-team league, you can't. Now, here's what this is all I'm going to tell you. Look, if you wanted to trade this guy, if that's your number one goal in life, this is what you got to do. You got that's probably the best advice. That's actually the best advice. Don't hold your breath.
Don't hold your breath. Please do it.
Time's more valuable.
You're gonna buy some nice music. Go buy some. I recommend Alicia Keys, maybe some Barry White. Go get some music. Go get some candles. Buy some oils. Right. Set the mood. Whatever. Say a prayer. Put them in your starting lineup because everybody wants
say
players
more than
that
one
are started.
Say multiple prayers.
Yeah, you gotta say yes. You're gonna have to because you're actually starting them. Because everybody wants, when you're trading with, you want players that other people are starting, right? They notice that he's on your bench. That means he's not really worth it, right? So it's like, oh, let me buy that sweater for $200. It's like, bro, you don't even if they know you don't even like it. If it's like, oh, that's my favorite lucky sweater, boom, it's gonna. They know coming into negotiation, it's going to be a little bit tougher. And this, my friend, is nobody's favorite sweater. I'll tell you that. You're going to have to start them. You're going to have to do the candles, the music, the multiple prayers, everything, hold hands, kumbaya, whatever. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't do that crap.
Light some sage.
I just use an iPhone. Yeah, sage the whole house, sage the whole neighborhood.
Sage Rosenfels the whole house.
Yeah, do everything. Hope he gets you 11 fantasy points against the Panthers, and then you trade him for 2 bags of peanuts. That's your only hope. Or you just lose all hope.
Get something, yeah.
I mean, it's not looking good. I get this question all the time, like what to do with, like, I mean, what do you want? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I told you not to draft this guy. Like, what do you want? Travel back in time. I'm trying to help.
Travel back in time.
Like,
right?
what do you want me to do? I not tell them.
We all did.
told
we
them.
warned them. Dynasty
I was like,
and redraft.
And I even said J.K. Dobbins. I tend to avoid him. Like, like Dobbins can still turn it around, but it's already kind of an L situation. A lot of people are benching him. He was out for 3 weeks. It's already an L. We went Breece Hall and ETN. Jury's still out on ETN.
ETN's trajecting upward, though.
At least, hey, he's alive. He's
J-Rob's going down. J-Rob's going down.
That's what we like to see.
Yeah, so I'm not tooting the horn on ETN yet. He was been disappointing. Sure, I drafted him too early, of course, but I also have Breece Hall in 2/3 of my leagues, and I looked at that man. I looked at his sleeper profile. We talk RB9. Let's go, RB9.
Okay, that's good. Very
I mean,
nice.
that didn't warrant like 220 YouTube comments about how dumb I am for drafting Breece Hall. I was like RB9. I was like, came out.
Bully.
There's not a lot of competition at RB. Apparently, you could just be top 10 RB all of a sudden. I was like, Breece Hall all of a sudden RB1. What the hell? RB1.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Would you trade Fournette for Breece Hall?
I want Fournette.
Nah, I would. That's a nice trade. I need something else in return. Like I think I would do it straight up. I think that's silly. Just the only good thing about doing that trade is that I think Breece Hall is much more durable. He's much younger, so off top, just by default, so that's a plus. But I mean, why would you do that? You can get way more. I think that's a lopsided trade.
I think you could do that trade though today if you really wanted to.
If you're
the Fournette side is the better side.
Yeah, but Fournette, that's
what what's lopsided. It's not the other way.
Okay.
The Fournette side.
Is it lopsided?
Fournette is this close to being the best running back in fantasy.
He's really damn good. Yeah,
I think he was the top scoring running back last week.
Yep, 35 points. Or something like that.
All right.
I had him in Beat the Brain. I had him in going on drafters. Won a few bucks. Yeah.
But he's way more likely to be injured as well. We can agree that.
I'd say significantly more.
Significantly more.
Significantly, yeah.
Okay. Well,
even though that's a good reason to make the move, but I mean, I would definitely still.
Why not get more? Yeah.
If you could get him in another up and coming piece, it can be done.
Yeah, or upgrade somewhere else. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, that works. I don't hate the idea of making that move.
You can easily get a guy like Rondell Moore or Schultz at the very least. I'm saying you need to do way better than that.
Well, Pickens
easily.
and Breece Hall.
It's easily, but I would probably want more. I'm stingy with the trades. I mean, I drafted Breece Hall in all my leagues. What am I? What else? What am I gonna do? But I know, theoretically, all right. This is not about me. This is about everyone else.
Breece Hall has a lot of upside, though. Is all I'm saying.
No, I like it. I need probably some more than Pickens, but that's a great him and another player would be.
Fournette is RB7, by the way.
Like a QB. RB7?
Yeah.
I think you're in half PPR. I could be wrong, but.
Well, this is what our producer Drew put in.
Oh, no, you're totally right. RB7 and RB9 in Standard League. No, that's right.
That's a little closer than I thought, actually.
He's still good. That's still RB7 versus RB9. That's still. I need something else in return.
Okay.
Something significant.
Seeing where we're at.
Someone I can start, but I do like the trade. I do like it.
All right.
I like the idea.
Yeah, I like the idea. Mm-hmm. Breece Hall's looking a lot better now that Zach Wilson's under center.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a disaster that is for the wide receivers of the Jets. Any passing options for the Jets?
You're telling me, man. Big Elijah Moore fan. It's.
Oh God, I still have him. Man. I can't drop him in redraft, no matter how painful it is. I don't have the heart to do it. Should I do it? Should I straight up
I'm
drop
trying to
him?
trade him. It hasn't worked.
Nah,
You're not gonna trade him.
You can't
There's
trade
no
him.
way.
What the hell's gonna?
He's
Only
not tradable.
Dynasty.
He's not droppable either. You know, like oh
Is
god.
it? Could it be?
In a 10-team league, he's a must drop.
In a 12. I'm talking
Yeah,
12.
10 team.
No, I know. I'm just
Oh
drawing
no, yeah,
a line.
10 team. That's
10
yeah,
team, he's
yeah,
a must
that's
drop. He's in the
must
same
drop.
realm as like Allen Robinson. In
I'm
12
definitely
team.
talking about 12 team here.
12 team. I mean, I have him in at least one 12 team, maybe two. I mean, I didn't drop him. I think I have him in a 14-team league and a 12-team league. I didn't drop him. But
Elijah
I mean,
Moore or Wan'Dale Robinson?
Oh, Elijah.
I don't know
Come
much
on,
about
come
this
on, come on,
Wan'Dale
come on,
guy.
come on.
I'm more of a Kadarius Toney.
Oh, that's terrible.
Isn't this like when a celebrity couple breaks up? Like, which side do you take, Jennifer Aniston's side or Brad Pitt? This is what that's to me was like what's because they're cloned. They're both clones. Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson. Kadarius Toney, you know, he's the mysterious guy. He's the flashy guy. You know, he's hot. He's cold. You never know what he's gonna get. He's injured. He gets healthy. While he's getting healthy, the other side of him gets injured. Like you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's a poor man's Kadarius Toney, but the coaching staff hates Kadarius Toney for some reason. Who knows? I'm more of the Kadarius Toney side. I don't know much about Wan'Dale Robinson.
Have you seen Wan'Dale? You should pop in a YouTube clip. He's pretty explosive. He's just 5'8". That's the only problem.
Okay, I guess I'll say this then.
That's a big problem, my friend.
Yeah, remember, Sushin, we got so happy to get Calvin Austin. Now, like, we can't even see him. He's so short.
Can't even play in a man's game.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Too brittle.
Now he's short. He's even shorter than.
Hey, he'll get there. He's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. Very good work ethic. I am banking on that. He will see the field one day.
One thing that happened to me and Sushin.
It'll happen.
We held each other and cried because we missed out on Calvin Austin in a rookie draft, and we had to settle. We had to settle for Romeo Doubs. Think about how tight that is. That worked out.
That worked out.
That was a dub. It was round 7 in a rookie / free agency draft. I think it was round 7.
They saved you from yourselves.
And Calvin Austin went like 7.02, and then we like, I guess we'll get this
go Romeo Dobbs instead.
non-athletic possession receiver Romeo Doubs.
Amazing, right?
You'd rather have Dobbs and Watson at this point, right? Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not crazy.
Even in Dynasty. Even in
Dynasty, yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Really?
About that.
Watson I think, doesn't have it, bro.
Look, I think. That's
it.
not fair. I think Dobbs is the answer.
Dobbs has it.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. But I also think that we haven't seen enough of Christian Watson, and so if you're not starting either one, I mean, what's the difference? So it's like if Watson could be better eventually, I think there's still a chance. I think we're spoiled.
That school I don't believe in anymore. I'm a doubter of that school.
Yeah.
But didn't Carson Wentz go there?
Trey Lance also
Lance.
Watson. Oh God. We spent 4 minutes making fun of our league mate that started Wentz. What are you thinking, dog? In a 1 QB league. Wow, wouldn't that guy love that Geno?
Williamson, though, when he comes back, what do you guys think the impact is? Is he a difference maker, or is he just going to be having the rookie pains?
Man, I don't know, honestly. I don't know. What I think, though, is I'm a believer in Jared Goff. I think he's a great QB2 to have in redraft because this bye week, it came at the best time for them. They're going to have Swift at 100%. Mm-hmm. They're going to have Jameson Williams real soon. They're going to have Amon-Ra at 100%. Josh Reynolds at 100%. When I text my buddy, Dr. Chris, Dr. Chris, Mike.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I actually asked 3 doctors this. None of them got back to me except Dr. Chris. So that's pretty cool. I was like, hey, like, what percentage of injuries do you think the public knows and like which ones are hidden? He said like we probably only hear about 25% of them. So it's like I always like add that, like obviously we don't know, but I mean when I look at all these questionable tags and like how the team's playing and like I'm just thinking like the Lions right now are super banged up.
Yeah.
And then you factor that in, like there might be some more stuff we don't know about. It's like this after this bye week, Jared Goff, man, this guy could be top 7, top 9 quarterback, like moving forward, and that's worth a roster spot
That's
in my
huge.
opinion.
Oh yeah.
Like he's
the line
pretty good.
helps them a lot. The good offensive line.
Yeah, and Swift adds that. So you got when you have a Monra, Swift, and Hawkinson lined up 100% healthy, that's tough on the defense because those guys are not ordinary. You have
And
a
you'll
guy
have
who can
J-Mo
beat
to
you.
stretch the field soon too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
J-Mo.
Yeah, and that's the X factor coming out. Who I love when he's running down the field. Like you better watch out. Jameson Williams better than Devontae Smith, right? As a prospect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. I think it's
If he didn't get hurt, he would have been like the top prospect.
I don't know why I just kind of compared them. I don't know. Jameson Williams seems kind of lawn and skate. I think Jameson Williams.
No,
is
Jameson was way
better.
bigger than Devontae Smith.
Oh,
Yeah,
bigger.
just a
Too?
little
Oh
bit.
yeah. Well,
Not way bigger, a
Devontae
little
Smith
bit, but-
is tiny.
I mean, he's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
probably
tiny.
weighs a lot more. Yeah.
Jameson Williams is like a specimen. Like he is a fast, strong,
Yeah.
tall wide receiver.
There's a reason why I drafted him in our dynasty league.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jameson
He's gonna be his
Williams,
car. He could be, like,
180
six
pounds. The dude
long.
is
He's
hella skinny, too.
tiny.
He's skinny for sure.
Yeah.
He's slim.
6'1", 180 pounds. So he's
He's not short,
taller.
but he's.
Yeah, I mean that's what it
he's-
looks like for a Z wide receiver, though. You know, if you want to be a speedster, they're a little bit
Yeah,
lighter.
Jameson Williams is what 6'4"?
J-Mo's not 6'4".
No, he's
No,
6'1",
not.
Mike. He's 6'1".
6'1"? No
Yeah.
way.
He
Wow,
just looks
really?
lanky. He looks.
That's
That's not
crazy.
short, by the way. Just
I
so
thought
you
he
know,
was
6'1" is a
much
good height.
taller.
Yeah.
6'1" is not short.
No,
I know.
no,
I
no.
just thought he was taller. I thought he was
Nah.
like 6'4".
He's just dope.
I didn't know that.
He's just really good.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
They're saying 4.3 40 time. Just
Ooh.
insane. 99th percentile.
That's fast.
That's not, yeah.
That is fast. Oh boy.
I'm just seeing what Hollywood Brown's doing right now, and we all know this
Ooh,
guy's
Hollywood.
just what Hollywood and Devontae Smith are doing right now, and this guy's a better prospect than both those guys. Like
Hollywood gets like 12 targets a game. Like he's crazy right now.
his role will change when Hopkins is back, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
he's good.
Yep. He's
Yeah, you
good.
can't take that. He's good.
Kyler airs it
Devontae
out though.
Smith's good, man.
Kyler's a good quarterback for fantasy purposes.
No, I like Jared Goff, man. I think this team could be really good for fantasy.
Goff or Geno Smith?
I was just gonna ask that. Dude. I literally was. I promise you. I'm not.
It's
just saying
Goff.
that. I
It's
was gonna
Goff
ask
for
that.
me. I think
Okay,
most
I'm saying
people
it's
were
close
thinking
though.
Geno
You have to.
Oh
Actually
no, it's very
have the
close. I
discussion.
think most people would say Geno
Yeah.
Smith because they just look at the thing. They just
If you don't look
recency
at the
bias.
names, you're just looking at stats. Like it's different.
Well, not
ballgame.
that. If you just look at the last game, recency bias, Jared Goff took a
Yeah.
big poop. So it's
Right,
like
correct.
that's why I think everyone would say Geno Smith. If we traveled back in time another week, I think a lot more people would say Jared Goff than
That
Geno
dime
Smith.
though that he threw to Lockett last week was one of the
Ooh,
best passes I've ever
man,
seen in
yeah.
my life. Like,
And I
it
love
was-
the schedule too. Arizona coming up,
Yeah.
and then I know the next couple of weeks is
Ooh,
also
that's-
going to be pretty easy. So easy sledding
Geno.
the offense.
I'm in on Geno this season. I think he's having a resurgence that I don't think it's like a fake thing. I think it's real.
You know, he reminds me of that guy who used to play for the Seahawks, Russell Wilson. Not the
He
one that,
wishes.
not the one that got his slate clean and his memory drive wiped recently. Not that Russell Wilson.
Some
Old
leagues
Russell
have
Wilson.
dropped Russell and picked up Geno. Like some teams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
no,
heard
I
those.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
five
truth,
percent of people dropped
Yeah, yeah.
Russell Wilson. Yeah, like,
He's
or more.
droppable. I would drop him. I
So
would
this
not
past
want
week,
to-
Russell Wilson and Stafford has been. Well, I do a lot of hack my lineups, and I've seen
Uh-huh.
those guys at top of the waiver list.
Wow,
Stafford,
that's
just about
crazy.
one. Every other league had one as a top
Whoa,
waiver pickup at
That's
quarterback.
bad.
I mean, they're pretty freaking bad. Like,
That's crazy. That's
especially
a far
Stafford
fall.
Stafford's the one that, like, to me is just unfathomable. Like, it's hard to comprehend Wilson, I guess, but the Stafford to me is much more harder to comprehend. I have him, I think, only in one league. It's a Patreon league, and my team is killer in that league, and that's literally the only bad part of my team. I got a Stafford. I drafted
Wow.
Stafford and Lance. And
I
Cooper
think they
Kupp.
need to re-sign Odell. That's the only way they can save this.
Odell's
season.
not. I don't think he's ready. That's the thing.
I know. I'm just saying they need to get him when he's ready. Like that's the only way that.
Yeah,
they
I mean,
can
he would
salvage this.
he'd be great for that team. They need
Don't
him.
lowball them, Rams. Pay up. You
Well,
need
I think
Yeah,
Odell.
they
he
need
needs
some help
to.
there for sure.
He needs to
Yeah.
go on a playoff team, otherwise he won't really play. So I think that's what's kind of holding him.
So
That he
Rams
won't.
are out. You think Rams are out?
No,
of
no,
the
no. I'm
playoffs?
just saying people don't know about Odell and they think like he's gonna get signed and play in a week or something. That's not. I don't think that's the case. He won't be like I'm saying. He can't play physically. Can't play on a team that's not in the playoffs because he might not be able to play till week 18 or something or later.
Really? I think he'll play by November.
No, it's
No.
he's
He tore his ACL in the Super Bowl, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
So there's
he's
a
30
timetable for
plus.
that. Yeah.
He's 30 plus years old and he tore his ACL in the same knee he tore his ACL before.
But he's a freak athlete. Like he can come back. Like,
He's
people
30
come
years
back.
old.
And
Though.
people
Like,
say
there's
that
also
stuff,
a
but
set window.
So you don't think he's coming back till when? December? Like late December?
earliest.
That's
Really?
realistic too. That's not.
I'm
even
just
like,
telling
Yeah.
telling you what I've been told by doctors basically. It's not my opinion.
Uh,
I've been researching this. You know, I get this question asked like once a week, Mike. Like so
Okay.
it's like that's what I've been told. That's my take on it. I could be wrong. Like I was wrong about James Robinson. This guy just takes over all of a sudden. Like I mean,
That's what
things
I'm saying.
happen, but like the dude tore his, like I said, he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. Like that's the very last game you could possibly play. He's 30 plus, torn ACL in the same knee. There we have. So this is brother Pete. He works with the most popular fantasy doctor, and that's saying. Okay, 29. Sorry, Odell Beckham is 29.
Yeah, take
years
it
old.
easy.
It's-
Put some respect on his
you take
name.
it. You take it easy. 30, 29. I'm gonna sneeze once and fart twice, and this man will be 30. All right, so just relax. It's very
He's
close.
been through
to
a lot,
30.
man. Give him a break.
Look, he's a great player, and they need him. But I'm just telling you, that's if people are asking, why hasn't no one signed him? Why is he not catching touchdowns from Stafford? That's, I think, the reason why he's
Okay, that's
out
fair.
another 2 months at least. So he needs to be on a team that's making playoffs. All right, let's do the dynasty section. Sushane's going to talk about start talking about running backs, and then we have a whole section dedicated to De'Ami Brown, right? Like a shrine.
Can I cut out?
Diami Brown, you're fine.
Yeah.
Good one.
Okay.
Good one. Good
Thank
one.
you guys.
No, well, we're gonna be talking about the 2023 class. By now, I think everyone who plays Dynasty, who's kind of getting into it, they kind of know that the class is pretty good. Like Couch, you're probably trading for 2023 picks, or if you're rebuilding, you probably have like 4 or 5 or 6 first-round picks in the 2023 draft because it's a good class. A lot of people are telling you that, and you made the move to get those picks, and good for you. But now it's time to figure out, okay, now I have these picks. Who's actually in this class? What's there for me to take? What's available, right? And obviously the most interesting or most talked about portion of each rookie class would be the quarterbacks, right? I kind of want to talk really quickly about them. Don't want to go into too much detail. There's 2 of them, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. One of them is probably going to be the first overall pick. I have reservations on both, right? For CJ Stroud, he's not going to give you those rushing yards in fantasy football. He's kind of that pocket passer, okay? And then for the other one, Bryce Young, he's kind of on the small side, like Kyler Murray, undersized at the position. So because of that, I'm kind of thinking, unless you're really desperate for a quarterback, and as you mentioned earlier, Couch, in Superflex, it's hard to get a quarterback. You can't just pick a rookie and then, hopefully it's going to pan out and it's going to work. I mean, if it does, good for you. You check the box. If it doesn't, well, that's how it goes for most rookie quarterbacks that are selected. So what I'm thinking is, unless you're super desperate or you're in a position where you need a quarterback, I would probably fade the position in the first round in favor of running backs. Because running backs, to me, looks like the strength of the 2023 class. And if you're going to prioritize those early picks, might as well get the best part of the best class, right?
Now we got a graphic up here. Now this graphic with these names here on the 2020 to 2022 rookie class.
Yeah,
We're kind of going back in time and just evaluating these guys as prospects, right?
correct. Yeah. So obviously, Jonathan Taylor on Indianapolis. I mean, there's an idea that you have. He's the 1.01 in Dynasty and my fantasy drafts and all that stuff and whatnot. That's cool and all, but we didn't know that was gonna happen right away, so to speak. So that's kind of why we have the college logos for you there. So just kind of helps you remember, okay, we're evaluating Jonathan Taylor when he was coming out from Wisconsin. Same thing with DeAndre Swift and Najee Harris. And what you're gonna see in front of you is kind of a comparison of where do these running backs fit in compared to the last 3 years of rookies, right? It's easy for me to sit here and tell you, hey, the running backs are really good. This is the strength of the class. And I can start listing off all these cool names and start telling you their scouting reports and everything. But like, that really has no value to you unless you really know, hey, compared to this or in a fantasy context, what do these guys bring to the table? So the first name to bring up, again, a lot of people know this one for sure, Bijan Robinson. This guy is as advertised. He is as good as everyone says he is. You're gonna, whoever your favorite scouts are next year, you're gonna be watching the television, NFL Network or whatever, and these guys are gonna be, absolutely gassing this guy up. They're gonna tell you he's the perfect RB prospect. We haven't seen anyone better at the running back position since Saquon Barkley. He can be picked in the top 10 of the draft. You're gonna hear all this type of stuff, and yeah, he's that good. He's advertised. He is that guy. He is him. He is him.
Who's better prospect, Bijan or Saquon?
I would say Saquon and then Bijan, but we're kind of splitting hairs here. And the only reason why I would say Saquon's a little bit better is because I'm obviously, this from AJ Dillon, who we're going to talk about a little later. I'm a big fan of the legs for a running back. Saquon's got a little bit thicker trunks. So for that reason, I'm going to take Saquon, but it's close. It's close. And obviously, if we're talking startup next year, because of the youth, I think Bijan Robinson might go ahead of Saquon in the startup draft just because, running backs,
Oh,
you need the younger
he
guy.
will, unless you're
Yeah.
a scaredy cat. He most certainly will. When I took Saquon 1.01 in a startup, it sparked a lot of controversy on YouTube, and people just flat out like they thought that was the wrong move, and they thought I should take Zeke, but they were wrong. So.
Yeah, no, I understand their perspective because one's proven, one's not. But at the same time, I mean, you're thinking from the perspective of, look, everyone is saying Saquon Barkley is the most amazing prospect ever at the position. He got picked in the top 5 or whatever it was in the draft. All the signs are pointing up for you to make that move. So, I mean, I totally get it. And I feel like once the NFL draft rolls around in April, I think all the signs are going to point to you picking Bijan Robinson quite early in your drafts. I have him ahead of Jonathan Taylor as a prospect because he is clearly far and away superior to Jonathan Taylor. As a prospect, I think the production, Jonathan Taylor may have an edge just because this year Bijan Robinson has been good, not great, while Jonathan Taylor was pretty much stellar and great all 3 years. But again, I mean, this is Bijan. The traits are there. I will say this before I move on to the next guy. If Bijan Robinson is not a top 5 running back, or he's not at some point in his career, the 1.01 or 1.02, he's probably going to be a bust, man, honestly. Like, even if he's an RB2, that's not what you're signing up for. If you're going to trade to get him, you got to trade way more than that. So these are high expectations that we're putting on this guy, and I feel like he's going to live up to them. Next guy on the list is Jahmyr Gibbs. He's one of my favorite running backs. I think Mike is going to like him a lot. We were talking about Brian Robinson earlier and how he's, kind of Willis McGahee, like a power back. I mean, that's Jahmyr Gibbs, but he is just on another level. Couch, if I told you, hey, look at running back number 1 and look at running back number 2, and I never told you anything about these guys, you would tell me that Jahmyr Gibbs' tape from the eye test looks better than Bijan Robinson, because that is true in my eye. From my eye, Gibbs looks like the better pure running back in terms of just physicality, vision, all those traits, contact balance that we talk about. He just looks better to me than Bijan Robinson. And he is going to be the second running back taken in this draft class. What I will say is that if Bijan did not exist, Gibbs would be far and away like the top guy in this class. He's really good. He also goes to Alabama. He's a better version of Najee Harris. That's probably a similar comparison I might give him. Maybe Alvin Kamara because he can catch as well. But that's Jahmyr Gibbs. I think I'm very excited to get him if I'm not able to land Bijan Robinson. I'm in a lot of tanking teams, so I'm expecting an early pick. But if someone beats me to the punch, I am perfectly content with getting Jahmyr Gibbs. Next two guys, Zach Evans, Sean Tucker. I'm going to kind of talk about them in the same kind of, not rather individually, but kind of together. These are like your tier 2 guys, okay?
So just the people that are listening and can't see, you got Bijan Robinson just ahead of Jonathan Taylor and ahead of Swift. And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs, the next rookie prospect. Then under that, you got Najee, J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne. And now we're talking about right under Etienne, these two prospects for 23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I would say is I was tinkering with this because obviously you see Breece Hall right underneath them. I think these guys are both better than Breece Hall, ? If they're not better, they're really close. So I would consider Etienne, Zach Evans, Sean Tucker, Breece Hall, Javonte, kind of all in like this one kind of cluster of a tier. Let's call it a tier 2. And again, let's say you're in a situation where you're not tanking, but you have your 2023 pick. You're not necessarily a great team either, so you're kind of stuck in the middle. Look, man, these running backs, if you told me you can get Breece Hall in the middle of the first round of a rookie draft, that's incredible. You know what I mean? That's absolutely mind-boggling incredible. So I'm predicting that as long as these two guys pan out and become, decent, relevant in fantasy football, I think these guys might be the best value, at least from the RB position, in the entire 2023 draft. You're telling me I can get Breece Hall / Javonte or Etienne in the middle of a stacked, uber stacked draft class. I'm all in on that. So those are those two guys. And then we go to the last one.
So after Tucker and Evans, they got Hall, then Breece Hall, Javonte, then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, then Cam Akers, then Ken Walker, then A.J. Dillon. And just for the record, that I would never have Cam Akers ahead of Ken Walker. I would have Ken Walker. I was never a huge fan of Cam Akers. I just thought he was overall okay. So Ken Walker definitely one spot ahead of Cam Akers. Ken Walker has a lot more pop, and he was, for some reason, got a bad rep with his pass catching abilities.
Sure. Okay. I can live with that. What is going to be a hard time living with, though, is being stuck with Tank Bigsby. I'm talking about him now because he is a very, very, highly touted, that prospect pedigree is very high. It's really good, right? But what I am going to say is every year, and it's happened for at least the last 3-4 years now that I can remember, there's always one running back that, we think a year before they come out is really good. And then by the time Couch does his research and Mike gets his research in, and, all you guys who are not really college fans, but more NFL fans, and then start looking up rookies just, months in advance, you see these names be kind of irrelevant. I'm talking about a guy like Chuba Hubbard. Couch, when you drafted Chuba Hubbard, or when you found out about Chuba Hubbard, he wasn't that great. He was picked in the second round. The expectation is he was going to be the handcuff to Christian McCaffrey. And obviously, we haven't even seen him do that to a great ability. if we drafted him 1 year before, I would have told you that Chuba Hubbard was the guy. Top 3 back, as good as Najee Harris, as good as ETN. That's just the reality of the situation. And then what happened was he had a back injury and his stock fell. So similarly, we have this guy named Tank Bigsby, and he is averaging 2.2 yards per carry. Not good. I'll say that again. He's averaging 2.2 yards per carry, and he looks like crap.
Pro comp Trent Richardson.
Pro comp Trent Richardson. Let's go for it.
The same numbers he was averaging like in the Canadian League, Trent Richardson or whatever.
Yeah. So a lot of guys who play Devy leagues, which extension of a dynasty league where you can kind of draft rookies while they're still in college and then you wait for them. They have Tank Bigsby and they are trying to get rid of him, or they are holding their breath, crossing their fingers, doing whatever, saying multiple prayers, as we were earlier, that he becomes something. So what I'm going to tell you is, even if you're in the second round and you see Tank Bigsby on your board, pass him up. Let the next guy have him. There's other running backs that you can get later. We'll talk about them in more detail at a later time. And there's some wide receivers that are also going to be available that we can get to right now, actually, because that's pretty much the main bulk of the running backs in the first round of 2023. And just for the record, all of these guys in the NFL draft, definitely round 1 and round 2 picks.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
So these guys are gonna be picked in round 1 or round 2.
The actual these.
Yeah.
What about
you're gonna see 4 running backs go by the end of round 2 for sure.
Not Bigsby maybe though.
Not Bigsby, I don't think, but definitely the top 4, absolutely.
Because they're elite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that when you said like running backs later, like that might have upside in your rookie drafts, Ramondre Stevenson came to mind. So like another guy I drafted around that time, the next year was Pierre Strong. Now that's looking like it won't pan out, but whatever, that's round 3. It's a taxi squad. That's what expectation I had with Ramondre Stevenson as well. I'm like, it's round 3. It's super late. Like, let me just get this guy. Like, he's okay. Like I had heard some good stuff in camp. He's a tough guy and, he's working out. I'm starting him this week in Dynasty. So, and that was a homegrown pick for me. I drafted him in his rookie draft. So there's always guys like that.
There will be, because I'm going to tell you right now, the leading rusher in all of college football is also available in 2023, and we haven't even gone over his name. So there will be some good stuff at the running back position available later for you, for sure.
All right,
let's move on to wide receivers.
Wide receivers. All right.
Yep. Okay, so receivers. Last year, if you remember, we told you quarterbacks weren't that great. Running backs were okay, but limited options. Tight ends, not that good. Receivers, strength of the class, but at the top, you don't really have that elite guy. That's what we told you, and it looks like we were kind of right. I think we were kind of right. Receivers looks like it's the strength for now. That top guy is pretty good, but not like, super high end like Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb or anything like that. But in 2023, the case is a little bit different. Okay. We have the third of 3 LSU wide receivers. Okay. Let me just remind you who these guys are. The first one to come out was Justin Jefferson. His quarterback was Joe Burrow. Second one to come out was Jamar Chase, who also had Joe Burrow. And then the third guy is Kayshon Boutte. Now, from a athletic profile perspective, this guy has the physical tools to legitimately be a top 10 wide receiver prospect ever. I'm talking about on the level of guys like Julio Jones, Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, AJ Green. These absolute stud receivers, Michael Crabtree. I'm talking this guy, Kayshon Boutte, could be on that level.
Why is Michael Crabtree's name on there?
Because as a prospect, he was dynamite.
I think Niners took him 10th overall.
Yeah. He's definitely a very high.
But he should have went where Henry Ruggs.
Hey, I mean, that's
Darius
the thing,
Hayward
not all of these are
Bay.
going to be insane picks. Like,
No,
for
I got
example,
you,
you can
but
look
I
at these.
think Darius Hayward Bay went 6th or 7th overall that year.
Who did?
Darius Hayward Bay, the
Darius Hayward Bay.
Henry
That's the
Ruggs,
thing. No,
the
but
0.
Crabtree is considered like a way better prospect than Darius Hayward.
Yes,
Bay.
that's the
I know
point
that
I'm
for a
trying to
fact.
make. You're like not getting the point because you said
Okay, sorry.
I'm telling you. Crabtree went like 10th overall from what I remember. He should have went to the Raiders like 7th overall. Because the Raiders drafted Henry Ruggs 0.5, aka Darius Hayward Bay, aka drops hella passes.
Yeah.
DH3. Drew, we watched this draft together. Yeah. So Drew remembers it like yesterday. Darius Hayward Bay went 7th overall, just to be clear. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. But hey, I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. The one knock on Kayshon Boutte, and I do have an explanation for it though. So hear me out here. If you look at these on the graphic here, if you look at the stats and the production, you're going to see a little bit of a red flag. Okay. So in Justin Jefferson's first year, he did pretty well. Got 875 yards, 80 catches. Pretty good. Next year, exploded. 100 catches, 1,500 yards. And mind you, this was the year where Joe Burrow had that huge year with 60 touchdowns and just exploded. And LSU's offense was historically great and yada, 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 whatever. Fine. And then you look at Jamar Chase and, his first year, 300 yards, pretty good. Second year, explosion, almost 1,800 there. Then you look at Kayshon Boutte. First year, good. We love to see it. 700 yards. That's kind of similar to Justin Jefferson, right? 45 catches for 735. Jefferson got 50 for 870. Okay, sure. Then you look at the next year, 509 compared to 1,500 and 1,800. So we're looking at 500 compared to 15 and 1,800. That is obviously quite the drop off. Now, this is the first year then with Joe Burrow not as the quarterback. Okay. So he has, doesn't have the quarterback there in 2021. He also played only 6 games. He had an injury. So there's a little bit of explanations as to why the numbers are a little bit down. But then this year, I don't have it yet because obviously the year is still in progress. It's not on the graphic, but this year the numbers are really down, really, really down. We're talking, I think it's like 150 or so receiving yards for the whole season.
How many games?
6 games in, 5-6 games in. It's really bad. And the reason, the comparison that I'm going to give you, the situational comparison that I'll give you, think of what's happening right now to DJ Moore in the NFL. Okay. DJ Moore for fantasy, he sucks right now. But is he a bad receiver? No. He's a talented guy. He just doesn't have a good quarterback throwing to him. And it's really making him suffer from a production and a fantasy perspective. That's what's happening with Kayshon Boutte, in my opinion. They don't have a quarterback. I don't even know the guy's name. It's so bad. 17 for 130 and 1 touchdown. I mean, that's pretty bad in 6 games for what you're expecting. That's not good. Okay. All I'm telling you is I really feel that the quarterback play is so bad that it's the explanation. It's the reason why the stats look bad. If you give him those stats, he would be an instant top 5 pick. The fact that he has these horrible stats and is still projected to be picked in the first round today tells you how good of a traits guy and a projection guy that he is. On top of that, there's going to be a combine later. Athletic profile is through the roof. I expect him to absolutely smash the combine. That should help his stock for the draft as well. If you're not into Kayshon Boutte, you can scroll down a little bit to the bottom here, Couch. If you're not in to Kayshon Boutte, or you're a little bit scared of the production profile, that's fine. That's all good. Because there's another guy available for you named Jordan Addison, and he goes to USC. So here's the thing about USC and LSU and Boutte versus Addison, okay? All great things got to come to an end, right? We have Justin Jefferson, we had Jamar Chase, we have Kayshon Boutte. Is there anyone else in LSU coming up? No, that's it. That's the end. What happened was Joe Burrow won the national championship and everything, and all was good, all was well. And they had Justin Jefferson on the team. They had Jamar Chase on the team. And now they were recruiting Kayshon Boutte. So now he was the next guy in line to be, carry the mantle for the receiver position for LSU. And then they didn't do so well after Burrow. The coach got fired, and now a new regime is in, and now a new recruiting stuff is happening, and now they're in total rebuild. Fine, whatever. Now you have this new school coming up, USC. Hasn't been good in so long, but now all of a sudden, if you look at the history, the recent history, you've got this guy named Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's pretty good. You got this guy named Drake London who came out this year. As a prospect, he's probably better than Amon-Ra St. Brown. In 2023, you have the best USC prospect coming out yet, Jordan Addison. Keyshawn Johnson, he went to USC. He thinks Jordan Addison is better than himself. That's how highly he thinks of Jordan Addison. So if you're not into Boutte because of the production profile, totally fine. You have another guy you can take. He's got the production profile. He won the Blitnikoff Award last year, which is the award for the best receiver in all of college. If you like Treylon Burks, if you like Garrett Wilson, if you're a JMO fan, whoever you liked in 2022, Jordan Addison was objectively better than those guys in the year they were getting drafted. And the proof is in the pudding because he won the trophy for it. So there you go. There's your receiver position. And again, those are your top two for 2023. Most of the receivers, again, because we covered a lot of running backs, most of the receivers for the value you want to take in the second round, and we will cover those again in detail at a later day. Last but not least, baby. So last year, the tight ends kind of sucked as a whole. There's some cool names. Like Trey McBride is cool. Greg Dulcich. I'm a Chikakonkwo fan. There's some cool names, but it's nothing like what we had the year prior, where we had Kyle Pitts and Pat Freiermuth and even Tommy Tremble. But in 2023, we have something quite unique here. Okay?
We're drafting this guy, by the way.
Yeah, we're drafting.
Honestly, don't care what we do. I never wanted a quarterback in the Throne Dynasty, the league where we all drafted together as a community. If you guys want to trade the pick or go QB, I don't think we need to or we should. But this is the only guy. I don't even want Bijan Robinson. We don't need him. I'm just saying, if we get one guy,
it's him,
tight end premium.
Yeah, baby.
We got Kyle Pitts, who might, I don't know, I'm worried about him.
My language.
So it's this is the only guy. I'm gonna just let you guys do whatever the hell you want to the team. I'll just help facilitate. This is the only guy where I'll put my foot down and be like, guys, what do we do? We have to get this guy in tight end premium dynasty.
Absolutely. Look, what did people say about Quentin Nelson? They said he was a gold jacket Hall of Famer the day he got drafted. They will say the same thing about Michael Mayer. Let me tell you what happened in this 2022 draft, okay? There was this guy named Kyle Hamilton. He got drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. Pretty high draft pick, I think 11 overall or something like that, top 15 or so. He was even rumored to get picked in the top 10, okay? So he's one of those types of guys. And when teams do their prospect interviews and whatever, first of all, they only have a limited amount of people that they can interview. And then on top of that, they only have a limited amount of time to talk to those guys, right? So it's really important to kind of maximize the time, ask the questions you want to ask, get the most information possible that you feel will be relevant for your football team and to assess this guy's, worth and fit for your roster. Got it? So when teams were interviewing Kyle Hamilton, who went to Notre Dame, he was a defensive back there. They asked him, "Hey, how did you guard your teammate, Michael Mayer? Because we're fascinated in him." So just think about that for a second. NFL teams are, they have the chance to talk to a top 15 player in the current NFL draft with limited time. And the question they're going to ask him is, "Hey, tell me about your teammate, the tight end." That's how good this guy is. And we're talking, this was 1 year before he's even draft eligible. On top of that, when Michael Mayer was a freshman in college, this is now 2 years ago, scouts were saying this guy is NFL ready. That's crazy. Kyle Pitts right now is clearly not NFL ready. He can't block for his life. Arthur Smith looks like he's, for some odd reason, wants to use Kyle Pitts like a traditional tight end. I don't know why. I think that's just his vision. Otherwise, he'd be using him more out wide as a receiver, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Fine. But the fact of the matter
what
is,
a dumb butt.
yeah, it's frustrating, dude. It's frustrating. I mean, he has his own vision. That's fine. I can respect that, but it's frustrating to watch. Regardless, though, the fact is Kyle Pitts is not fully ready for the NFL level. He's for NFL competition. He needs to get there. There's some things in his game he has to develop. When you say that a guy is NFL ready as a freshman in college, the guy has 3 more years to refine his technique.
That's not really fair though. Jimmy Graham, didn't play in line. I mean, I don't know if you could say Jimmy Graham was an NFL ready. And that's like, we're talking about like our grandpa's football almost.
No,
His
I
football
got you,
changes.
but
I don't know if you would say Jimmy Graham. I mean, but Kyle Pitts could produce, similar to Jimmy Graham's level. I mean, he did it last year, 1,000 yards.
We're talking about a tight end, though. Tight end means you also got to block. I'm not talking about Kyle Pitts, the receiver.
I know, but if you drafted as a GM, if you drafted Kyle Pitts, what are you doing?
I'm using him as a receiver. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you can't make Evan Ingram as well. Like you draft Evan Ingram to use him more as a receiver. You know what I mean? Same thing. Jimmy Graham, when he got his franchise tag, he was trying to get paid like a wide receiver. He's like, look, man, I line up and slot 66.67% of the time. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I getting paid like a tight end when I'm being used as a wide receiver? It's right. Like, I mean, I don't know if you can say Kyle Pitts is NFL ready. Just say, I mean, he's probably not a great blocker. He's probably not a great inline player.
I was trying to say for what I think Arthur Smith's vision of him is.
Yeah, but Arthur Smith's an idiot. Like, that doesn't even matter. Like, well, I mean, that's like, I'm just saying, you're saying Kyle Pitts isn't NFL ready. I don't know if I would say, like, I don't know if I would use those.
For blocking, he's not.
So, yeah, I mean, but there's other.
Yeah, he absolutely
we've seen tight ends play in the NFL that aren't that great at block. I don't know how good Evan Ingram is at blocking, but I know he's he's a wide receiver. Jimmy Graham was never good at blocking. He's a wide receiver, right? Gronk's great blocker. Kelsey's underrated blocker, but not, he's more of a receiver and used differently. And I mean, just look at how Kelsey's used. Like, he's used the right way, and he's not a terrible blocker, but it's like
he's a great blocker.
I mean, Kyle Pitts, though, it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, you get him to, I mean, he's like, you got to use him like Jimmy Graham, basically. You got to split him out wide. Like,
I'm also not Arthur Smith, my friend. Like you said, you asked me if I drafted him, I would be using him like an extra.
Of course, but I mean, I'm just saying NFL, but you said NFL ready. I just don't think I would not use that with Kyle Pitts, even if you're trying to look from Arthur Smith's. Arthur Smith's point of maybe he's trying to tank. How about that? Like, I mean, we're just trying to guess what Arthur Smith's thinking. Maybe he's a really smart tanker. Because I mean, that's not like how, like, obviously when you look at Kyle Pitts, you don't see like, oh,
but again, just to clarify, when I'm saying NFL, not NFL ready, I specifically mean, given what I feel Arthur Smith's vision is, that he wants to use him as a traditional tight end, he is not ready for that role because the blocking is not there. That's all that
Yes.
I mean.
Okay, I get. Yeah.
Michael Mayer, though, opposite end of the spectrum, homie. Opposite end. This guy is totally ready to go. And the one thing, look, I was very bullish on Kyle Pitts, even while he was still in college. I never said that he was going to be an immediate impact player, and he kind of surprised me by getting that 1,000 yard. I mean, that was a pleasant surprise for me. I knew he was. I had a feeling he could be pretty good.
Still ain't getting no touchdowns though.
Sure.
Just like last year.
Unfortunately,
this
that's
guy
an
can't
issue.
catch one of those to save
That's
his
an issue,
life. But yeah,
right?
he balled out last
Yeah,
year.
he balled out, and point being, that was unexpected to me because people were saying, "Hey man, you love Kyle Pitts. You love Kyle Pitts. Should I take him? When should I take him?" Like, don't take him in a redraft. He's probably not going to do nothing for you because he's a rookie tight end. And sure enough, I was in some regards wrong because 1,000 yards, very good. For Michael Mayer, I think I'm actually going to tell people to draft him in a redraft. I think he's one of these, maybe not week 1, but like week 2, 3, 4. Like, I think we're going to get some immediate impact stuff out of Michael Mayer. And the last thing I want to bring up to you, this is more of a long run type of thing here, but if you're rebuilding, and this is probably one of the reasons why you want Michael Mayer pretty badly, based on just the pipeline and how the trades go, obviously there's guys who can emerge, sure, but it looks like there's 4 guys who are just going to create the next wave of tight ends. And this is the second guy. And you can look at the years if you want to. They're on the screen. We had Kyle Pitts a couple of years back. We have Michael Mayer coming up. We have another guy next year. And then if you miss out on that, you got to wait quite some time. You have this kind of – the reason why we know about this guy in 2027 is he is a LeBron James type prospect. It just so happens he plays tight end, so he's probably not going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but he is like that type of guy. So he's coming out super, super late. So if you miss out on Michael Mayer and you've already missed out on Kyle Pitts, you only got 1 shot left before you got to wait till, honestly, 2030 to see a tight end, really. You know what I mean? So it's going to be very imperative if you're rebuilding and you need a tight end to plan ahead and prioritize getting Michael Mayer on your rosters if you can. Because in my opinion, Couch, he is not just the most complete tight end prospect ever. I think he's the best tight end prospect ever.
Does it matter tight end premium or not? He's still super valuable.
I mean, you tell me, Travis, if you're going to get Travis Kelce's type of production, which I'm not going to compare him to Travis Kelce because I think the skill set's a little different. But for the numbers and the fantasy things, I think he can be as good. So you tell me, like, is Travis Kelce in premium versus non-premium? Does that make much of a difference? I don't think so because that positional advantage is so big. So I would say just go get this guy however you can. Don't go crazy. Don't go drafting him, ahead of Bijan Robinson or ahead of the you know what? Maybe you could draft him ahead of the QB1 in Superflex if it is Superflex T premium. That could be an idea. But don't draft him over Bijan Robinson. And yes, Danny Garcia is right. That's the guy in 2024. Brock Bowers. His silhouette is there.
Oh, that is him. That's actually him.
Yeah, that's actually him. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Those are the tight ends. I'm really excited about this class in general. The unique thing about this is that usually when people ask me about a class, I can kind of tell them, oh, yeah, 2022, yeah, just make sure you have your running backs locked up so you can stack up receivers, For this class, it's kind of more like, hey, what do you need? Do you need a quarterback? Okay, go get this guy. You need a running back? Go get these guys. Receiver, tight end, you have options. It's one of the rare classes where I can confidently say to anyone that you will have an option at all 4 core positions to get a legitimate cornerstone piece added to your roster. It's a fun class. If you have the 2023 firsts in hand now, good for you. If you don't have them, they're probably too expensive to get at this point. I would recommend not paying a premium price to get it. What I would do, though, is try to get some 2023 second round picks because there is a good amount of depth on top of these elite guys that have headlined the first round. And maybe in our next update couch, we can do one after the college football season. We can get into some of those second round rookies. That's all I have for you, pretty much.
This was great. I was sick today. I was barely able to do this. I'm dying here, but I didn't want to leave the people hanging. Did my rankings video. We did the podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that Dynasty segment. So what are your thoughts? Just preliminary. We had the Throne Dynasty League. We drafted as a community. We're tanking. We're expected to get the 1.01. We got a ton of picks. You think we use the 1.01? And we do, it's probably going to be on Bijan, even though it's super flex tight end premium, or do we trade out of it?
So I do agree that if we use the pick, it's got to be for Bijan Robinson, just because this guy there's so much hype around him that I feel like picking a quarterback or picking a guy who gets that late boost is just a mistake. But man, I would be really curious to see what types of offers are out there. And this is not just going to be advice for our league, but this is going to be advice for the masses here. If you're in a position where you have Bijan Robinson on your team or you have the 1.01 on your team, I would see what's out there, man. I would see what types of offers you can get. Because look, as awesome as Bijan is as a player, as a prospect, he looks great on film. Analytics guys love him too. There's a chance he might not pan out, bro. There's a good chance that he could be Trent. We were joking about Trent Richardson earlier. There's a good chance he could be Trent Richardson. That is an outcome. It is not a 100% chance. It's not a 100% chance that he's a stud. Even if he's like, let's say for example, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? I drafted him at the 1.01. I drafted him to be my RB1.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
You know what I mean? So like if he even becomes the next Clyde Edwards-Helaire in terms of fantasy production, that's not really good enough either. So he's got to really pan out, and there's a chance that might not happen. And for that reason, just see what's out there. You might get an offer you cannot say no to. Couch, I know you had the 1.01 last year, seemingly for Breece Hall, and you got some insane offer. I think someone offered you CeeDee Lamb straight up.
I offered that trade. CeeDee Lamb straight up for the 1.01. I was very happy with that.
That's a great deal, I think. I know CeeDee Lamb hasn't been, perfect for you, especially with Dak Prescott.
I'm tanking anyway, though. So I like it.
Anyway.
I like what I see out of CeeDee Lamb. I think that, I went out on a limb. Got a little bit of flack in the comments for putting him in tier 1. I like what I see out of him. The Cowboys didn't really throw the ball last game, but like he is starting to pan out. Don't know if he's elite yet. That's still out there. He's not elite yet, up with Diggs and all those guys. But I like what I see out of him. I think he's a wide receiver 1 moving forward. He's only going to get better. He's still super young. So I like that trade. And it was the best trade for my team, where I don't want a running back.
Exactly.
I want some building pieces, some cornerstones for Dynasty long term, and I want to tank, and those plans don't include running backs at the moment. They will next year.
Yep, definitely. Wide receiver definitely helps out with that. So yeah, I would see what's out there, man, because if you can get CeeDee Lamb for Breece Hall when you're on the clock or a little bit before the draft, who knows what's going to happen when 2023 draft fever hype season is at its all-time high. I would love to see what types of offers people are going to be sending. Personally, I cannot wait. As someone who has a lot of picks, should be fun.
Bijan Robinson, who's a pro comp to him?
I've got a good one for you, Nick Chubb. And that has nothing to do with him being the RB1 in fantasy this year. Before, I was thinking about this in the offseason, how I was going to present Bijan to you guys. My pro comps would be Saquon Barkley as a prospect profile, and then as an actual player skill set on the field, I see a lot of Nick Chubb.
You don't see a lot of catches, or is that because Nick Chubb I don't think he's terrible at catching. He just doesn't catch because Kareem Hunt's out there. He doesn't need to.
Yeah. It's not that. So yeah, Bijan can catch. He's not a prolific pass catcher.
So it's not like Saquon is pass catching. So
no,
more like Chubb with pass catching.
Yeah, he's like Chubb with pass catching for sure. Definitely. He's good though, man. He's good though, Danny, for sure.
super flex, no, I'm saying a startup, would you do this? Would you do what I did and risk all the flack I got for going Saquon 1.01 at when he was a rookie? So this was my first time ever playing Dynasty. It was 2017 startup draft. I drafted Saquon Barkley 1.01. Are we doing this with Bijan in a startup?
If it's super flex, I'm not.
You
If
got to
it's
go
one
like Josh
QB,
Allen and all
yeah.
that, right? Yeah, like
If it's
don't.
one QB, I 100% am, no doubt.
Oh, okay.
100%. Dude, the perceived value right now is too good to pass up. Forget about Justin Jefferson. Forget about Jamar Chase. Forget about whoever your favorite blah 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 is. I'm taking this guy because the perceived value is too good.
That's crazy. Yeah. And I mean, back then we were only starting 2 wide receivers. So it was like kind of a no, and it's 1 quarterback league. It's not tight end premium. So for me, it was just, to me, it was a no brainer. But again, Saquon Barkley was my favorite guy. And he's right now like my favorite NFL player. I made a TikTok. What was it? I was like, hey, do this. Like, name your favorite NFL player that's not on your favorite NFL team. So it can't be. I was like, my guy's Saquon Barkley. Like, he's my favorite player. I love him. Like, I drafted him from day one. So you're saying you would do the same thing?
I would. I know it's super gutsy. It's not the safe play, but I don't play safe. I play to win, man. I play to win, and I think the perceived value, I don't even have to have Bijan Robinson on my team for the full year. What I'm thinking is like I can just get him, I can just hold him, and like as soon as he just pops off on his first game, just trade him for just absolutely everything. Get a whole team.
Is it gonna be like, it's not gonna be like Reggie Bush hype, is it? Like that much?
It could. It could.
You remember what I'm talking about? Because
I know
some
exactly
people
what
may
you're
not
talking about.
know, or what may not have been into football as much. Like, yeah, Reggie Bush wasn't that great as a pro. He had a little bit of a resurgence and got his Super Bowl and this and that. So his career wasn't that great. But as far as a prospect and a highlight reel, this guy was on Sports Center every day, 24. It was like how they talk about LeBron James during Reggie Bush's senior season in college. It was Reggie Bush all day, every day. I mean, he ran the ball 98 yards on a return, 90 yards. Like, it was just 90-yard touchdowns, like all the time. Like, he was unstoppable. And it was a shock that he didn't go first overall. He went second overall to the Saints. Like, that's how the hype. So you're saying, like, if something's happened, if the right format happens, people's gonna be start talking about Bijan. So like, you walk into a restaurant, it's Bijan. You watch Sports Center, it's Bijan. NFL Network, Twitter, it's gonna be all Bijan.
I
so
think in
you might
football
trade
circles, yes, just because coverage of the NFL was a little bit different back when he was drafted in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, it was like almost no internet. Yeah, there's no Twitter back then. Yeah.
Right. So I think within football circles, it's definitely going to be a thing. I'll tell you one thing: a lot of players on the football team that I'm working for, that I'm coaching for, they follow NFL a lot. They don't follow college that much, but they all know who Bijan Robinson is because he's that good. So that just tells you just how famous already, how much of a name, type of buzz he's getting for people who don't really follow college that much. He's good, man. He's good.
You want to read this?
Sure. So if Texas' offensive line was as good as Alabama's or Georgia's at run blocking, he would be blowing up the NCAA. The fact of the matter is, he kind of did last year with the trash O-line. That's why he's so good. He did blow up the NCAA. I think at one point he was in consideration for Heisman. I know Bryce Young ended up walking away with that one handsomely. But I think there was a point where Bijan Robinson was in the conversation. If it wasn't last year, it was the year prior. But there was for sure a time when that was a thing. I believe so, yeah, right?
I remember this. Zeke was going around 11 to 14 overall. So he was going 12th overall. He was being drafted as the very last pick in the first round, right around there. So yeah, and just remember, draft capital, it matters. Like, we didn't talk about it back then. It was not a lot of analytics like it is today, and we didn't have as much fantasy strategy. But Zeke went 4th overall. Gurley went fourth overall. Those guys were really highly touted prospects. Everyone really loved them in fantasy, in redraft as well. And then Saquon Barkley went second overall. So like that's like unheard of in like those like kind of the modern days. And so it's like, well, this guy Saquon might be twice as good as Zeke and I'm kind of joking, but you get the point. I mean, like a running back going fourth overall is too early. I mean, these dudes in New York drafted him second overall. Like that's nuts. And at least he panned out, and I love that Saquon's having that resurgence this year.
I will say one thing. I know you guys don't care about the defensive class at all, but there's some really good names at the top of the defensive class and at very safe positions as well. So I have a sneaky feeling that some of these defensive guys are going to get taken near the top once draft time comes, just because they're the safer bets. And there's some teams that are going to be saying, oh shoot, I'm picking 4 overall, I'm picking 6 overall. I don't want to take a big risk. I just want to go with a safe bet who I know is still going to be a stud, surefire elite player for us, cornerstone piece on the defensive side of the ball. So that could push some of these offensive players, like the receivers and the running backs and tight ends, down a little bit. But I still think for Bijan Robinson, I still think he's going to be a top 20, more like top 16 pick overall in the NFL draft, which to me, especially in the modern era, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, as much as I like Bijan Robinson, and as much as I just told you that, yes, I would take him with the 1.1, given the perceived value in a startup next year, if I'm a real GM in the NFL, I don't know if I can take him with a round 1 pick because he is a running back after all. But man, I know someone's going to do it because he's just that special of a talent. I know someone's going to do it. I have a very strong feeling.
So
especially if Najee and Etienne go 24, 25 or whatever.
It was 2018. That was the first year. And everyone was telling me I should have went Zeke. And this is the startup 2018 draft. And I went Saquon. Oh, that's when my book went bestseller. Probably still pumped about that. Yeah. What? Oh yeah, I'm always late. So I just trying to see. I think Zeke went second overall. That's the only reason I'm looking at this. Yeah. So somebody asked about Zeke. I think that was redraft, but I'm just thinking like, where did he go? Because everyone was like, you got to draft a guy like Zeke. I remember the YouTube comments.
Wow, there it goes. Drafting Saquon. I see it now.
Saquon. Look at the rankings though. Number 1, Bell. Number 2, Gurley. Number 3, DJ.
David Johnson. Oh, baby.
This is ESPN. Imagine if I drafted literally any of those guys. Yeah, like literally. Wow. I guess Antonio Brown could have won me a couple ships though. So at least that was. But like, I still have this guy starting to this day, and he's like the best running back in fantasy. So it went.
Yeah.
Saquon, and then pick 2. It went Todd Gurley, then Odell, then Zeke, then David Johnson. So
I mean, you're the clear winner there, I think.
Yeah,
baby. So.
But that's I knew what I was doing I wasn't saying like, oh, I'm right. I was just like, I know it's risky, but like, I'm gonna get the younger guy and build my dynasty how I want to. So like, just answering the question, that's how it was looking like. And like, I don't know if I had I'm sure I had 1 or 2 YouTube comments agreeing with me. But all I remember was like literally everyone was saying like the same thing. Good advice. Oh, everyone's like giving me congrats on the book and the 20K. CJ Pro Size. There's so much.
There we go. CJ Pro Size. My goodness.
None of these comments made it. There was so many that were like, bro, you got to take a guy like Zeke, a guy that's proven. But yeah, that's how it went. 2018 startup draft, 1 quarterback league. It went Saquon, Gurley, Odell, Zeke. Pretty sure this was Zeke's second year. And then David Johnson.
Keep that list up for a second. This is the exact reason why when you asked me would I take Bijan Robinson at 101, I said yes with very minimal to no hesitation. Because look, like Jonathan Taylor already has an injury, has a lot of carries. He's been in the league for multiple years now. And then we can keep on going down the list. They only get older from there with McCaffrey and then Saquon as well. Next year is a year older.
Oh, it's not even. It's the only question would be if you would take a wide receiver, I think, if we're talking one QB. So it would be because all those guys are old now. Like who are you gonna?
So you would definitely want Bijan over the running backs.
So that's the only question: Bijan, or would you lean towards a guy like Jefferson or Chase?
Yeah, and I would say Bijan for that perceived value because it's a lot. People who don't tank, like people who usually go win now for virtually every league, they're looking at Bijan being like, hey, man, I might just tank for in one league just to get my hands on him, because he's that guy. So it's crazy.
Oh, don't even get me started. In this draft, I think I got Patrick Mahomes in round 10.
No, what?
Round 9, round 10. I don't think I was that excited about it.
Did you win this league?
Like, no, I always get like third place. I always get unlucky.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, oh, there it is. It's coming up here. Let's see.
Oh, wait, no, this is the same team you have now, right?
You've seen this league.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saquon, Mahomes. But it's like Saquon gets hurt. Kittle gets hurt.
Yeah.
Mahomes even missed a couple. Like, I always have this bad luck. Like, I got Chris Carson, who's pretty good, but he's always hurt.
Yeah.
And it's like I pick up Rashad Penny. I have him for a year, then I drop him, and then like all of a sudden Rashad Penny's the best. Right. It's like everyone's telling me, "Oh, bro, don't worry about Rashad Penny. If Chris Carson gets hurt, it's going to be a committee." Like, nah, Penny's the best, literally the best running back when Carson. So I just had a lot of bad luck. Team's pretty stacked though. I'm going for the win this year. I'm going for the kill.
Yeah, I've seen the team. It looks pretty good. It's set up nicely.
So I got Mahomes in. It was late. Let's say round 9.
Rewatch this draft. This looks super interesting to watch.
It's cringy. I was looking at the intro though. I just hit 20K subs apparently, and my book just went #1 bestseller. So like I'm hyped. I'm like barely making it on time. I just clicked Saquon. I already knew I was gonna draft Saquon, of course.
Yeah, you're ready to go.
That's just all I had to do was get that pick in. Yeah, definitely queue up your players just in case. All right, we'll end it there. We're gonna be talking about this all day, but appreciate you coming on the podcast, everyone. See you guys Friday, 6 p.m. on the YouTube channel. Just be live, chilling, answering all your questions. I don't need to answer any today. And then after that, we'll head on over to the Discord voice channel. All right, guys. Peace out.